Hi students, now we today start with a new topic which is a very simple topic, one of the simplest topics like banking, even more simple, and it usually comes for anywhere between 9 to 13 marks in the board exam. 9 to 13 marks gifted, it is simple, provided of course some of you are lethargic to remove the graph paper and do practice. That's the only reason why someone can do the ogives wrong. So there are three parts to the topic. One is mean. You know the meaning of mean, you have already done it. Mean is average. Sum of all the given data upon total number of data. That's what you did in standard 9 when you had to find the mean or average. Average scores scored by a batsman in 5 innings is sum of all the scores that he made in 5 innings upon 5. So that will give you the mean or average. So there are three methods to find the mean. One is the direct method, which you have already learned and which we are just revising first 5-6 sums are based on that. Then there is two more methods, that is shortcut and step deviation method. Usually one sum comes in the boards based on either shortcut or step deviation method, and it will be specified which method to use. If it is specified and you don't use that method, you get a 0. Even though the answer will be the same whatever method is used. Generally in the board exam, if shortcut or step deviation comes, the method is specified. So mean was finding average. There are different methods. Mode. Mode is the data which has maximum frequency. Mode you didn't do last year. Mode is the data which has maximum frequency. And this, you can draw a bar graph, that is a histogram. A histogram can be drawn and then you can find what is the mode. Histogram is asked some papers and sometimes it is not asked. So that is why I told you a variation that it could be minimum 9 marks, maximum 13 marks of this chapter. Then in median, median is once you arrange the data in ascending order, which data comes exactly in the center. That also you learned, you had learned two formulae. One is when the number of data is odd and when the number of data is even. That you had done in standard 9. Now this year you have an ogive, which is a curve which goes up like a hill. It goes up all the time. And from that you can find what is the data that appears at the center. So that is how you find the median. And that's a sure shot 6 mark graph that comes in section 2 in each and every paper. Last 20 years, every paper 5 or 6 mark question on drawing the ogive and finding the median is there. It's a sure shot question. So first we will start with mean. It is chapter 6 on page 44 of your Anish tutorial textbook. So mean is sum of all the given data upon total number of data, or second is you can say it is sigma fx upon sigma f, where x is the value of the data and f is the frequency. This both is called direct method. This is known as direct method to find mean. We are starting mean today. First we will do mean, then maybe mode and last median. So we have on page 44 question 1. The number of children in 12 different families in a locality is given and you are asked to find the mean number of child per family. Very simple, add up all the values of number of children of all the 12 families and then divide it by 12 because there are 12 families. So 36 upon 12, 3, so there is mean 3 child per family. Second question, first of all it is given, find the mean or average of the first 8 even natural numbers. It is even and it is natural. Natural numbers, you don't have 0 in natural numbers. Natural numbers is 1, 2, 3, 4. So even 2, 4 up to 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, that way up to 16. So again mean is sum of all the numbers upon 8 because there is first 8 numbers. So it is 72 upon 8 or 9. See, if it was mean of the first 8 even whole numbers, then you would have taken 0. You have to be careful on what is natural numbers. In linear inequations you have done it, so you know it, what is natural numbers, whole numbers and all that. So copy down all this and we continue with the third sum. Write it in your long book. Third question. This is somewhat like one of the sums which you had done last year. You have 11 observations and the mean of all the 11 observations is given as 65. Mean of all 11 observations is 65 means sum of all the 11 observations upon 11. Mean formula is sum of all the data upon number of data, that is 65. So therefore, sum of all the 11 observations, when you cross multiply, it will be 65 into 11, that is 715. Which means the first observation, second observation, so on, 6th, 7th, 8th, up to the 11th observation, when everything is added, the number is 715, sum of all 11 observations. After that, you are given two more sets of conditions. It is given that the mean of the first 6 observation is 63, which means sum of first 6 observation upon 6 is 63, or first, second, third, fourth, up to the 6th observation, when you add, you will get 63 into 6 by cross multiplying, that is 378. This was equation 1, this is equation number 2. Then you are given one more condition, that the mean of the last 6 observations is 66. Mean of last 6 observations, last 6 is what? Reverse count from 11. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7 and 6. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 is the last 6 observations. So therefore you will get, when you cross multiply, sum of last 6 observations is 66 into 6, that is 396. So when you add these two data, why am I adding all these two data, that is equation 2 and equation 3? Because the sum of all this plus the sum of all the second part, that is 6th, 7th, 8th, all those observations. Here you can write that, you can say 6th, 7th, 8th, all those observations up to the 11th observation, that will add up to 396. So when you add the two, first 6 and last 6 is 378 plus 396, that is 774. Now here if you look carefully, every observation comes once, but the 6th observation is there in the first 6 and the 6th observation is there in the last 6. So that means that the 6th observation is repeated a second time. So if I write everything together, I can write all 11 observations, 6th observation once, plus the second time 6th happens, that I have written it separately outside. Why I have done that? Because I know that the sum of all the 11 observations is 715. That is given in equation 1. So this I have replaced it by 715. But is that all? No. I have got the 6th observation, which is repeated a second time in this data, written out separately. Already one 6th observation is taken inside the given data, and the 6th observation, which is repeated, is taken out. So that is 774. So what is the 6th observation? It would be 774 minus 715, so it is 59. So you are asked what the 6th observation is. It's generally the observation which is repeated twice. I remember last time also 774 minus 715, that is 59. 774 is the sum of both of this, and it was written there in equation number 1 So 774 minus 715 is 59. That is the sixth observation. So last year also you had done a similar sum. The similar sum that you had done last year was you were given temperatures of different days of the week. Temperatures of different days of the week were given. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday's temperature was given. And then the next thing that was given was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Thursday was repeated and you were asked to find what is the temperature of Thursday. You did it the same way. Instead of 1 to 6 you had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This should be 11th. So you can write that it is 11 observations. First 11 observations. We had written till 11 and 6th observation was repeated. So Thursday, when it was repeated last year twice, you could find the temperature of Thursday separately. You remember these sums? You had such sums in concise last year. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And then you had Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And because Thursday was removed, the entire week 7 days plus Thursday's temperature was given, sum of all those temperatures. So you could find what was Thursday's temperature separately. This sort of sum you had done in 9th standard also. So generally you have to mark this sum because sometimes you tend to forget such sums like how did I do and what were the steps. Please make a note of it and make a note of that. It is first 6 data and the last 6 data, which is 11th observation. Of course, you don't go to the 12th, it is only 11. And 6th observation is repeated twice and the sum of all the 11 observations is 715. So you could find the 6th observation. Now the next sum, that is question number 4. You are given that the mean of 20 numbers is 18. So what is mean formula? Sum of the 20 numbers upon 20 will give you 18. This is the formula. So when you cross multiply, you will get sum of all the 20 numbers is 20 into 18, that is 360. Now you are given that 3 is added to the first 10 numbers. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 10 times. So it is actually you are adding 3 into 10, 30. What is 30 added to this? So why 30 is added to that? Because the first 10 numbers are increased by 3. So the new sum of all these 20 numbers, you have not increased the numbers. You have not increased the number of numbers. That is, 20 didn't become 21 or 25. 20 remains 20, but 3 was added to the first 10 numbers. For example, if the first number was 10, it became 30. So the quantity, number of terms didn't increase, but the sum of all the terms has increased by 30. So the new sum becomes 390. And the total number of numbers remain 20 itself. So the new mean is new sum upon 20, that is 390 upon 20 or 19.5. That is the new mean. Now this is a typical sort of sum, which is this method what you are using right now is also called direct method. It's a simple method, it is the direct method and it is used to find mean. Sigma fx upon sigma f. This is also direct method, but this is group data, that is ungrouped data. Here a particular data is occurring a certain number of times. So the data is 4 and it is repeated 5 times. Data 8 repeated 3 times. Data is P, it is happening 12 times. Data is 16 happening 5 times and data 20 happening 4 times. So the data is referred to as X. The frequency is referred to as F. And you have to make a third column, that is F into X. So F into X you have to multiply. 5 4s are 20, 8 3s are 24, 12 into P, 80 and 80. When you add up all the values of sigma of Fx, all of them, you get sigma fx. Sigma means summation. The symbol sigma stands for summing up. Sigma f means summation of all the frequencies. When you add up all these frequencies, it is 29. And sigma fx is summing up all these numbers. Now here you are adding 80, 80, 24, 20. It became 204. And 12p is written separately. You can't write it as 204 plus 12 and another p. It is not 12 plus p. It is 12p. So 12p is separate. It is 204 plus 12p and not 216 plus p. So this is, I hope it is clear, the numbers you add and 12p you write separately. So the same formula for mean, sigma fx upon sigma f. So when you substitute the values here, you are given in the question that the mean is 12. You are asked to find what is p. So here 12 is the sigma fx 204 plus 12p upon sigma f is 29. When you cross multiply 348, 29 into 12, 348 is 204 plus 12p. So 12p is 144 or p is 12. This sum you can mark it as important. Sometimes once or twice similar sum where you're given the mean and you're asked to find some value has been asked in the boards. So we will go on to the sixth question now. Question 6. You are given that in 9 innings a batsman has scored an average of 58 runs. So obviously mean is sum of runs scored in 9 innings upon 9. So 58 into 9, that is 522 will be the sum of the runs scored by that batsman in 9 innings. In 9 innings he has scored 58 into 9, that is 522 runs. But now it is asked that if in the 10th inning he scores higher, what will make his average 61? So in 10 innings his mean is 61. That means the sum of the runs scored in 10 innings is 61 into 10 or 610. So from equation 1 and 2, the difference will give you how many runs he ought to score in the 10th inning. So 610 minus 522 or 88 runs he has to score in the final, that is 10th inning. Now this was all sums based on direct method. Usually in the 10th standard board exam, except for the 5th question, the other questions are generally not asked. That was 9th standard. So now you have two new methods to find the mean. This is when you have group data. In 9th standard the syllabus was restricted to non-group data. So now if you have 0 to 10 so many people, 10 to 20 so many people, 30 to 40 so many people, then in that case it is known as group data because you are given a group and in that group so many people are there. So in that case one of the methods use this shortcut method and the second is step deviation method. There is not much difference between the two, a small difference. So what is the method? Like what are the steps? You have to write this down once, but the steps will be very clear when you actually do 2-3 sums. Then you don't have to refer back to this. So the first thing is you need to arrange the given data in ascending order. So 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. That way in ascending order of groups or class interval. That groups you had learned statistics last year and you had come across the word CI. CI stands for class interval. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. That is the class interval. So first arrange the data in ascending order with the corresponding frequencies. Then if class interval is given, then you have to find the mid value or mean of that class interval and call it as X. So after writing the class interval, the next step is, the next column will be to find the mean or the average of that class. So mean of that class or mid value. For example, 0 to 10. The mid value of 0 to 10 is 5. So X for that first class will be 5. 10 to 20, x will be 15. 20 to 30, actually 20 plus 30 upon 2, 25. That will be the value of x for the third class, and so on. As I told you, this will become very clear when we do a couple of sums. It is not necessary that every class, every group of data must have class interval or a group. If you don't have class interval, then you can ignore step 2 and directly go to step 3. That means if instead of 0 to 10 you are given 5 happens 6 times. Then 5 happens 6 times means direct x is given. There is no class 0 to 10. And direct frequency is given, 5 is happening 6 times. In such case you don't have to do step number 2. The third step is you have, once you have found all the values of x, for example I told you 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Then from one of those data, one of those values of x, you consider it as an assumed mean. A. Capital A stands for assumed mean. What is it? We will see when we do the sum. So if you have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, in middle you have 15. 5 and 10, then 15, 20, 25. In middle you have 15. So 15 is taken as assumed mean and written as capital A. Then for each of those class we have to find what is x minus 8. We will see this when we do the sum. Find f into d. You are having frequency into deviation. For each class you have to find the value of that. And finally, mean formula for your shortcut method is mean is a plus sigma f of d upon sigma f. I am sure you may be confused with all this because naturally you have not done any example practically. So it is gibberish right now. So we have to do a couple of sums. It will be very easy. Now this is shortcut method. As I told you, in the board exam you will be mostly given which method you have to solve the sum by. And if you do not use that method, then you are bound to get 0 in that sum. Even though your final answer when you come out of the examination hall, you would be very happy saying that answer is correct. But then you have to follow the method which is asked in the question paper, and it is asked. Generally they tell. So now we will go on to question number 7 and solve it using shortcut method. See now question 7. This is the first sum of shortcut method, and in this sum group is not there. I mean 110 to 120, 120 to 130, that way it is not given. So this is ungrouped data. It doesn't have a class interval. X is directly given. 110, 120, 125. It was not given in order. So we have made it in ascending order and we have written the corresponding frequency. 120 was given first, but the lowest data is 110. So 110 corresponding frequency 12. Then 128, 125 frequency 5, 130 frequency 10, 135 frequency 8, 140 15, 150 frequency 6 and 160 frequency 4. We have written all the data in ascending order with the corresponding data, that is the frequency. This is already given in the question. What we did is we just arranged it in ascending order. That was the first step. And this is having data directly given. You don't have to find mid value of any class because class is not given. So now next step you have to find the deviation. D stands for deviation. So you are finding what is D or deviation. So to find deviation we have to take an assumed mean. I told you here there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 different datas are given with the corresponding frequencies. So since 8 datas are given, I am taking the fourth one as the assumed mean. If you see the steps, you had written there that take one of the values of x from the middle of the given data as the assumed mean. So when you have 8, you take it as 8 by 2. This is 8 data, so 8 by 2, fourth. So we take the fourth data as the assumed mean. So all of you will take the same number. If you take 110 also, the answer won't change. but you are supposed to take from the middle. So in this case 8 data is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, that way. So 4. If it was 10 data, you would have taken the fifth. If it was 7 data, what to do, we will see. If it is 7 data, which data is the middle one, we will see. But this is even number of data, so you took 130 and circled it and even wrote assume mean is 130. So now why is that important? Because next step is deviation, that is x minus a. X is this value. Different values for different data. So 110 is x, minus a is standard for all, 130. So 110 minus 130 is minus 20. Minus is important. Minus 20. 120 minus a, d is x minus a, x is 120 minus 130, that is minus 10. Then 125 minus 130, minus 5. 130 minus 130, 0. 135 minus 135, and so on. Last one is 160 minus 130, that is 30. Below the 0 you have positive values, and above 0 you have negative values, because what you did is x minus a. 110 minus 130 is obviously minus 20, and when you come to the same, whichever data was the assumed mean, that time x is also 130, a is also 130. So it becomes 0, and after that x is more than a. 135 minus 130 is 5. So down below 0 you have all the positive values. You may be thinking, why are we doing all this? We are doing all this to find the mean. And this is the method, by shortcut method, this is the method to find mean. So next step, next column is f into d. F is the frequency, that is number of girls with that height, frequency into deviation which you just found. So 12 f into minus 20, minus 240, 8 into minus 10, minus 80, 5 into minus 5, minus 25, 10 into 0 will remain 0, 8 into 5, 40, but now it is all positive values. Then 15 into 10, 150, 6 into 20, 120, and 4 into 30, 120. So now here I have added all the negative values. Minus 240, minus 80 and minus 25 added together becomes minus 345. 0 need not add because nothing changes. 40, 150, 120 and 120. When I add it, I get the addition of all the positive numbers of f and d. That is plus 430. So why did I add all this? Because I need summation of fd. So it is 430 minus 345. Addition of both of this. So it is 85. And the assumed mean was 130. Assumed mean I had already circled as 130. That is somewhere the average would be. So mean formula when in the shortcut method, a plus sigma f of d upon sigma f. Your a is 130 assumed mean. Sigma f of d is 85 and sigma f is 68. So this both goes with 17 table, 17 5s are and 17 4s are. So please do not sit and find cross multiplication LCM and then do the division and all. 130, let it remain there. You just divide these two numbers. I have seen many people doing cross multiplication, then taking LCM and all that and making blunders and mistakes in calculation. Don't do all that. So this is 5 by 4, which is 1.25. If you want, you can do the division 5 by 4 and see. So 130 plus 1.25, 131.25 centimeter is the mean height of the girls. How did you know the unit is centimeter? Because it is given height in centimeter. So what did you do? You assume that the mean is 130. And on that assumption, the answer will come somewhere close to that. So it is not exactly 130, but it was 135, 131.25, and you have to write centimeter. If centimeter is not written, you will lose marks for that. Please copy this down. This is a typical method. Next sum would be group data where you have class interval. So there will be one more column. See now the eighth sum. In the eighth sum, class interval is given. So there is one more column. Since the next column immediately after class interval, we can write what is the average or mean marks mid value of the class interval. So first class, it is already in ascending order here. So 25 to 35, so we write 30. 35 to 45, so 40. 45 to 55, 50, and so on. So we write the class interval in ascending order. It is already in ascending order, so here we had to find the value of x. That is the mid value of each class. Now this you need not show. It is not necessary that you have to write 25 plus 35 upon 2. You can directly say 30 and then each class is having a size of 10. So this will increase in steps of 10. So deviation now. Now in this case there is 7 data. So 3 on top, 3 below. The middle term, that is 60. We will take it as the assumed mean. So in this case you can use the formula n plus 1 upon 2 and find the middle term, which is the assumed mean. So since there is total 7 data, the one in the center is n plus 1, 7 plus 1 upon 2, or the fourth data is the middle term. So that we take it as assumed mean, capital A, and we circle it here also, because then it becomes simple for us to do the deviation, that is to find x minus a. 30 minus 60 minus 30, 40 minus 60 minus 20, 50 minus 60 minus 10. So always remember that negative values will come on top. After that 0 will come and then the positive values will come. 60 minus 60, 0, 70 minus 60, 10, 80 minus 60, 20, 90 minus 60, 30. Why 90 minus 60? X. X is 90. Minus A. A is 60. So that is 90 minus 60 or 30. Then this is the given frequency which is written directly from the question paper itself. Directly the frequencies of each class is written. Sigma f is 47. Then you have to do f into d. Another advantage of writing the frequency at the end after d is that you don't make any mistakes in which columns have to be multiplied. Sometimes what happens, if you write f here and then d is somewhere there, you may end up multiplying x into f. That is wrong. So you have to find f into d. So it is better that the columns are adjacent to each other so that you multiply the correct two numbers. Minus 30 into 5, minus 150, minus 20 into 8, minus 160, minus 10 into 8, minus 80, 0 into any number is 0, 10 sevens are 70, 20 into 9, 180, and 30 into 4, 120. So we add up the negative values, it is minus 390, and we add up the positive numbers, it is plus 370. So when you add these both, it becomes 370 minus 390, that is minus 20. The minus is very important. So you have to write the minus. Then mean, A plus sigma f of d upon sigma f. A is 60, sigma f of d is minus 20. So this is the plus, and the sigma f of d is minus 20 upon 47. That is sigma f. Now here, I am not doing any cross multiplication and LCM and all that. 60 minus, I have done the division here, 20 divided by 47. So I have done the division for you here. It is 0.425. So 0.425 gives you 59. 60 minus 0.425 is 59.575. But this question tells you to find the answer correct up to 1 decimal place. So since the second decimal is 5 or more than 5, in this case it is 7. So we round it off and write 5 as 5 plus 1, 6. So 59.6 is the mean. Mean x. In this case, it is not given whether it is height or anything. So you can leave it as that and write units. You can just write units. You don't know whether it is kg, centimeter, what exactly. So you can write 59.6 units, and it is correct up to 1 decimal place because the question says so. Otherwise, you had to find 2 decimal places in general cases and write it as 59.58 instead of 59.6. Only if the question tells you to round it off to 1 decimal place, you will do it. If they had asked you to write it to the nearest integer, this would have become 60. So read the question carefully, copy this down. So now in this case, question number 9, very similar. Of course, here the class is not continuous, but that doesn't matter. In sums of mean, it doesn't matter. When we do ogive, I will tell you how to make it continuous and draw the ogive. But here, even if it is not continuous, it's 11 to 20. It means 11 and 20 are both included in this group. 21 to 30, here 21 and 30 is both included in this group. 31 to 40 and so on, so that doesn't make any difference. So you have got a non-continuous class interval. So that is fine, no issues. Next is, like in the previous sum, you have to find the mid value. What is mid value? 11 plus 20 upon 2, 31 by 2, which is 15.5. Then you see these are all groups of 10. Groups of 10, why? 11 also when you count, 11 to 20 when you actually count on your finger, it is 10 numbers. 11 included and 20 included. So these are all groups of 10. So the mid value will increase by 10. Otherwise you can do 21 plus 30 upon 2 is 51 by 2 or 22.5. Then 35.5. Then 45.5 and so on. So when you add this and divide by 2, 21 plus 30 upon 2 is 25.5. Same way you find it for the entire thing. You need not show this working. I have shown it here, so I want you to know. Otherwise you will think, how did sir get 15.5? It is 11 plus 20 upon 2. This is the lower limit of the class. This is the upper limit of the class. This you had done in statistics last year. So 11 plus 20 is 31 upon 2, which is 15.5. Then we have 7 data. So when it is 7 number of classes, so 7 data, so it is odd number, so we will write n plus 1 by 2. That we will take it as the assumed mean. So the fourth term, 7 plus 1 upon 2 is fourth. So fourth data is 45.5. So I am writing assumed mean as 45.5. Then the same method, after I write the assumed mean, next step is to find the deviation. Deviation is x minus a. So 15.5 is x minus a, so minus 30. Then 25.5 minus 45.5 minus 20. See, once you do 6-7 sums, you will get used to this. Then you will not be interested in writing this. It is okay. You can directly write first one, minus 30, then minus 20, minus 10, 0, 10, 20, 30. Why? It keeps increasing in steps of class intervals, that is 10. So you showed the first one, you showed the second one, then you know that it is increasing in steps of 10. So 10, 45.5 minus 45.5 is 0, and after that, down below underneath 0 you have positive values. So first you have negative, then 0, then positive values. Then you have to write the given frequency. As per the question paper, those frequencies are mentioned with respect to the corresponding class. Then when you write f into d, many good students also make mistakes here because the addition is not proper. So units place one below the other, tens place, hundreds place, thousands place. Please write it properly, because sometimes even the best of students make addition mistakes. So 141 into minus 30 minus 4230. That way you do f into d for each of them. Then negative numbers I add, minus 13,040. And the positive numbers I add them separately, it gives me 15,980. So when I add these two, I get sigma f of d 2940. Now sigma f in this sum don't add because it is already given that the class has 2300 students. So then don't waste time adding up this. Read the question carefully, it is mentioned that the number of students in this class or school is 2300. So your usual formula A plus sigma f of d upon sigma f. So A is 45.5 plus sigma f of d there is 2940 upon sigma f is 2300. I have done the working here. Again I am telling you, do not do cross multiplication, LCM and all, it will take more time. So better than that is 2940 or 294 upon 230. 0 gets cut. So that gives you find correct up to 3 decimals if nothing is given, and then round it off to 2 decimals. So 45.5 plus 1.28 it is. So it will become 46.78. And what is this? The average you found, average marks. So we have finished the direct method and the shortcut method. So I will give you homework now for doing sums based on direct and shortcut method. There is one more method, that is step deviation method, which we will see in the next lecture. So direct and shortcut method sums I will give it to you for homework. Try it. I will tell you which sum to refer, but there may be like question 4, second part, you may have to think. Obviously in the next lecture or on Wednesday, I will give you the solution of that. You ask me in the group, I will give you the solution of what is the method for second part of question 4. Because we know, since we are teaching all these years, which some student will have problem. So that we will do. So copy all this down and do the homework and get shortcut method thorough. So your homework for Wednesday 29th April is these 7 sums on page 46 and 47. Page 46, the first 4 sums are using direct method. That is, mean is sigma f upon sigma fx upon sigma f. So that direct method, like in the first sum, wages in rupees, that is the data x. So 50 is the data, number of workers f. So 50 into 2, 100. So 3 columns you have to make and use the formula sigma fx upon sigma f. So that is the same method for the first 4 sums. But like I told you, in the 4th sum, there is a second part. The first part is the usual method. In that you will get the answer exactly as 38.13. So the sum of, there are 100 boxes and the mean number of matches in each box is 38.13. So the sum of all the matches in those 100 boxes will be 100 into 38.13, that is 3813. Now the second part tells you that if the new mean, you added certain number of matches and then the new mean becomes 39. That means the new sum of all the matches upon the number of boxes is same, 100 itself. That becomes 39. So therefore new sum of all the matches will become 39 into 100, that is 3900. So therefore the number of matches that needs to be added so that the new mean becomes 39 is this 3900 minus the previous 3813, that is 87 matches needs to be added. This, we know that some of the students get a confusion on how to do this. You don't have to do the full working again, you have to do only this much for the second part. Of course, for the first part you will have to show f, x and f into x, all that. The last 3 sums, that is question 5, 6 and 7, are shortcut method. So it is given in the textbook shortcut method. So use shortcut method and solve these 3 sums. So you can refer these classwork sums which we just did to do that. And one more thing is that you don't have this for your first Anish test, but it will be there for the second Anish test, which would be in sometime in June. So you have all this, most of it would be there in the first term of your school exams. So you learn this thoroughly. Don't wait for the test or 2 days before the test. It's very difficult to learn 4-5 chapters for the first time 2 days before the test. That should be for revision. So do this and copy all the frames sincerely in your long books. Bye. Have a safe weekend.